Mhm. Testing, testing. Welcome to my first stream in forever. Like, my name is Amy. I'm a fan game developer for the Freedom Planet fan game, Shang the Architect, with the attached Shang Freedom Planet Academy campaign. And right now, I am having an old woman moment trying to find the chat panel. But if any of y'all are interested in watching, thank you for coming. We're going to make the fourth stage for Freedom Planet Academy, which I still need to come up with a catchy name for. But it's based in Taishan Mountain region, which means there'll be lots of snow, grassy tiles, wooden bridges, temples, and pretty artwork. You know, it works. Oh, there's the chat. I feel so silly. So you've already got some friends in here. All right. Well, let's get started. Well, it's nice to see you as well. Naughty channel. So, first of all, I think let's go ahead and lower the water height. The default's somewhere around 2000. And if anyone's remembered prior streams, yes, the editor got a complete makeover for the most part. But the side panel should be so much better now, among other things. And everything is localized, so you can view this entire editor in more than just English now. We've got Brazilian Portuguese and Polish, and got Spanish coming up too. So how do we start this stage? Probably on a nice patch of snow. So, let's just say like a stage. Keep things simple. Not too worried about the description because it'd be like an internal stage. So just gonna check performance real quick. Okay, temps seem pretty okay. Been developing a game from a new laptop, so just trying to keep the heat under control. Oh. Nice. Put that in a tiny little window while I work on this. Now, don't feel bad. Like, there's so many games to play now that, you know, it's difficult to imagine, like, 100 people immediately jumping on a new fan game to play. Like, I'm sure people are still, like, picking, like, licking their mouths after, like, yes, last year's Sage event, which had, like, multiple finished fan games on display. Spawning in is also valid. I mean, the word spawn does have its origins in biology. So, oh yes, that's right. I'm also going to need the start point for the player. Also, I'm going to try and keep it interesting. Now let's place this down. Another thing I'm really looking forward to with future updates with the editor is like having an auto tile brush. Like that's something I've been like considering. for some time now. Like that would make placing a lot of this extra stuff is, just as simple as like picking, just a base tile, and you just click and drag, and the editor sorts out everything from there. Be a lot like Mario Maker in that regard. I think people would much appreciate that sort of thing. Oh. See, just dragging some windows around. Sorry, y'all. Well, I was dragging my feet getting up earlier today too, but I did stay up for a whole 24 hours and crashed for 9 or 8 or so. And, naturally, you just have a groggy waking up process. Mm. 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 Now, then another thing to be keeping in mind when working on this stage is like the general structure of a Freedom Planet level, which is a little bit akin to Sonic 2's structure, but with its own variation on that style. Like with Sonic 2's stage structure, there was like 2 paths, a top path and a bottom one. You're punished if you're on the bottom, you're having fun if you're on top, or having fun if you're weaving between the little routes that connect the 2 paths along the way. Weaving between those are a lot of fun as well. Where Freedom Planet itself differs is that like basically there are choke points where both paths will like merge together, and then like a story event or something like that will happen, like a bridge blows up, or the boss harasses you on the stage itself and flies away, little things like that. So nobody can possibly miss the visual storytelling that is happening. So, oh, not used to my laptop fan kicking in, but it's still like below 60 Celsius, so that's impressive. I did turn off like Psycho visual tuning for encoding, so that should keep the heat down. It was previously pushing it up to 65 to 70. It's like, that'd be just fine on a desktop, because you can put like a bunch of fans in there, cool it all down, but on a laptop there's like only so much room you have to work with. So we'll put that here. And I've cranked up a little desk fan up here to help with the airflow, basically. Yep. Alright, so I try not to worry too much about the visual appearance of a stage while I'm drafting it, but sometimes it's kind of nice to have something. Maybe like a nice little tree here. Because, like as you work on a stage, you're gonna like take stuff out, put things back in, so spending too much time on the visual component is a bit of an issue. Oh, looks like we got a spam bot already. Please don't, yeah, delete that. Do that again and I might feel bothered to like actually open up Twitch on a web page and ban said user. Like the chat box is for, actual conversations, not spam. The dad could stand a bit close to that. Okay. Oh, yeah, that's probably too close for the child. That little melty one over there. Alright, so also want to have like some dirt above this area too. Not much. Oh, I love Wacky Wednesdays. Hmm. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Just a little wink to the previous prototype of the stage from like 3 years ago. Like, I originally made the tile set for this area like almost 3 years ago. It kind of makes me sad, but we're finally using the tile set. And just a couple months ago, I expanded the tile set to have even more stuff too, because I realized, we kind of need all this. Now I should make it more open. Oh, yeah, I got the poor little melty tile. We got two regular ones too, just it's funny to have a melty one and as well. I did have some tiles like this. I think this will be okay. Just kind of needed the entrance to the stage to kind of reflect the previous hub area, just a tiny bit. Don't need to do much. So, kind of structure am I looking for here? In my head. Yeah, that's okay. Now, this is a live event, but I would hopefully like archive this on YouTube later, so everyone would get to watch it on their own time. There's a lot of value in like stream highlights and recordings, I think. Despite that, like one of the most valuable things about the stream is the live component, like being able to interact with people directly and getting answers to questions and whatnot. But if you're just there to watch, that's also valid. Oh, hello there, Alice Dance. I see you. Oh, it feels good to finally be making this stage. When you spend a lot of time on just the back end parts of the game, it makes you feel like you're not making any progress at all. Sometimes it's sad and frustrating at the same time, but it's very rewarding when everything comes together, I would say. Okay, well, how do I want the next part to play? Ideally, I would need like snowy loop tiles as well and things like that, but for now I'm just good with having rocks and snowy dirt and whatnot. So, oh yeah, like, this is the beginning of the stage, so maybe a nice little bridge and waterfall to emphasize the mountain part didn't hurt. And this bridge is meant for this stage anyway. Like, I just added the gimmick to other stages because, like, it's real easy to reskin it for other areas. So naturally, like, late game areas probably wouldn't use this too much unless I had a way to spice it up, like, making individual bridge tiles like glow when the player walks underneath them, like Hidden Palace from Sonic 2. I always thought that was really cool. I'd like to do something like that as well, but can't overuse the bridge or it just loses what makes it special. Like, I'm trying to think of like how many Sonic stages even used it. I think even Mania just has like maybe 1 or 2 stages with such a bridge. Aww. Yeah, I'm quite happy to have the original Taishan. I mean, the original theme that you wrote in this game. Like, it felt like it only made sense, really, because, like, we have Dusky's version for the sunset. We have Sinks' version for the night. It only makes sense that owl stances would be used for the day to complete it all. I'll have other uses for that Dragon Valley theme, that string note. I know that for sure. Oh, and I see an Argo with some boneless cats. I know who those cats come from. Oh, yeah, there's an idea. Use the bridge to organically transition to the stone tiles. See. Yeah, that is true. Like, it probably could use, like, I don't know, it feels like it does have, like, enough pieces to it. There's, like, an A section and a B section, which is, like, pretty standard for video game music. But, you know, that would be interesting to hear, like, the other renditions, pieces being referenced in the original. In, like, it's all coming together sort of way. That would be kind of cute. And, oh. And, I'm trying to remember, did I have, like, a plain snow tile? Yep, into the mines we go. Yes, there does need to be some artistic intent. So yes, we're gonna have like a rocky section first. Like this stage would be like the closest thing to like a Dragon Valley in Shang New Academy in Freedom Planet Academy's campaign, so gotta have lots of rocks. Even if it's like a more like, you know, Dragon Valley is like arid, dry, you know, lots of mineral clay deposits and things like that. And here is like a pretty humid, maybe cold and dry, I guess. I guess this area is kind of moist, as Buffles would probably put it. I could use some more inside corner pieces, rather. Need to properly label those too. Also, just for variety's sake, I'll go ahead and let Dusky's version play. That way y'all don't, like, have a moment where your brain starts to tune out after you hear the exact version of the same song for like 60 minutes and start to fall asleep. Dusky's theme is pretty high as well. Ooh, yes. Now let's try not to put too much attention into like aesthetic beauty for now. We need to get the layouts together, then we can worry about beauty as we go. One of those things you can spend the most time on in a stage is like making it aesthetically pretty with the tile set you have to work with, I think. Yeah, we could use a little water in there. I think that'd be fun. Where is it? I lose track of things in my own interfaces sometimes. Oh. Which is probably a sign that I could use more view eye clarity myself. Yeah, you know what, we'll just make it like that. And see, this is why you don't want to put too much attention to the visual component right away. Everything needs to fit together first, then you can worry about the aesthetics. Otherwise, you'll be ripping stuff out, spending so much time ripping things out that it just feels cumbersome. Could use like a 64 version of this. I found myself regretting only making like one version of this rock wall with with hub areas and yeah, that should have been my cue to like make another version of this rock. That's not what I did I? And I do have one unfortunate artistic consequence of these particular tiles, like I have to vary them out more than others because if I'm not careful, I will look like I'm forming a butt with the tile sets. Just look at this. This is like unfortunate. Like, you know, butts and other unpleasant things are unfortunately very easy to do when you're just first learning how to dive into art. Like, you know, one time I unintentionally made a structure that was like uncannily very well. It's like, oh my god, I just did that without even realizing it was a fully rendered rock that looked like I totally meant to do that. But then I zoomed out, I was like, oh no, this is what I did. Horrifying. But I found ways to like disrupt the the patterns of rocks to avoid certain things like that, and it makes them look more natural too, because like anything organic is going to like have lots of little natural disruptions and formations in those structures. It's very unlike how neat and tidy we humans like to make things when we're doing our architecture. Now, how am I going to platform this? I need to fix that bug too, like these water blocks still have this problem. With the splashes appearing even when you're against a wall. So, now, how do I want to deal with that? What I think, we'll just make this a very short height. Kind of wait just a little bit to have more complex platforming, maybe. Like, we'll use this opportunity to put an enemy here. It's like, we want to introduce new enemies in a stage, at least in the first half of it. Like, you want to make like a relatively safe space that's like not too distracting to navigate when the player is first introduced to something new. That's probably what I'm going to do, is make like a varied, a somewhat geometrically varied structure with an enemy on top. Just to introduce them to some new enemies. We do have some. We've got Iris from Freedom Planet 1. I just recolored them. Make them stand out, give them the mania treatment with their shading. Got the Saw Flounder. That's also new. And Ringhammer, that leaf sprited. Oh, this is like, yeah, this is the perfect stage for this enemy, even. Like, then we have Bullfrag, who, you know, this would be a great stage to introduce him as well, as long as he's in enough amphibious environments, I think. That also reminded me, I forgot to put this waterfall here. Just, oops. So yeah, this would be the perfect spot to like, no, that's, because I remember like in Freedom Planet 1, like Jade Creek is like one of the first enemies you run into. It's either the Shark Torpedo or Bullfrag. He's a relatively harmless enemy, just like very tanky and has like a wide reach. But he's pretty chill, you can just get on top of him and beat him up if you want. So we could use this area to introduce him for the most part. I did use him in Toxic Tunnel as well, but this would be like his area probably, I think. And I do need to like make another enemy to put in his place in Toxic Tunnel. Probably. Little things you deliberate on as you go. But yeah, we'll just use this opportunity to introduce Ringhammer. So back to the top set. No. Still got some bugs to work out. Power of dog fooding people. Which, if you're not familiar with, is a term for like using your own software to make things with the software. So that, you know, if you as a user are, as the developer, are annoyed with using the product, you are naturally going to, you know, find more things that need to be addressed. Like, there are things like irking you as you're casually using the thing yourself. Like, you should probably do something about that. Because if it's annoying you as a developer, like 8 other people are going to be immediately in your DMs like, yeah, no, patch this please. All the more reason to have a comprehensive to-do list, because like, yeah, there are some things that people report to me that I remembered running into on my own and just forgot to make note of, so of course someone else ran into the problem later and I was like, oh, I'm so sorry, that is in fact a known issue that I haven't dealt with. Oh no. Really don't want that. Ooh. Another bridge opportunity. I'm not gonna plop down bridges like it's a candy trail, but just, you know, nice opportunity for a little bridge. Like, it's more geometrically interesting than just having a flat surface the whole way to navigate. If you've played games like Hollow Knight or any other Metroidvania, you'll notice like there's simply like long flat stretches with empty, like hallways that would otherwise normally be empty, but it's not dull to navigate them because like there are scenery pieces you can hit along the way and little detours you could jump into above your head if you want. Like so, those games manage to keep themselves horizontally interesting despite the fact that on paper you would think you know, those long stretched hallways would not be fun at all. I can do a little bit of that Freedom Planet, not much. Like, ideally, you know, you want these stages to be very geometrically interesting to navigate. But for those times where you just need to deal with enemies in combat, you really don't want your combat areas to be geometrically complex, because then, you know, you have to fight the collision system, the character's movement, and the enemy at the same time. That's not very fun. Like, that's one of the challenges of Freedom Planet. With like Sonic, yeah, you can get away with putting enemies in maybe geometrically complicated areas, but because, you know, like they're pretty inoffensive. Like, they just kind of move around, maybe drop a bomb. Like, the only obvious no-no in the Sonic universe is like, you can't put enemies on the edge of cliffs, because yeah, it's like, you know, Sonic has this thing called contact damage, so like he doesn't have too many tools to, like, you know, defeat the enemy. If he happens to land on the edge, then the enemy hurts him and he falls back down. No, it's not very fun. Like, it's Then if you go to like other contexts, or like there's a buzz bomber to deal with, then like yeah, you're not going to be putting him in situations where he's spawning out the wall. Okay, now do need to make I have an opportunity to make a loop exit. That way we can have like a fun run down this area, but oh, what's this? I'm running into the bottom of the stage already and we just started. Whatever shall I do? How about this? That's another one of the neat things that I added to the game recently. We have a move tool that works, finally. I think we could stand to go up a little bit higher. There we go. Now I can grab the water height adjuster. Now we have more height to work with, despite the fact that I started the stage at the wrong height. You don't have to restart the stage anymore if you mess that up. And I do apologize for the corny Reverend reference, if anyone found it corny. I know not everyone watching the stream will want to comment on things as they're happening. Could just be too tired, not socially engaged, no social energy. But you have those feelings nonetheless. You can't ever assume that because people are not communicating their feelings that they're not having them. Right, so... And if I had done a little bit more planning of the stream, I would have had like one person on the mic with me while doing this. It's like one of my plans for Twitch streaming is to like stream the production of Freedom Planet Academy, and also like have a friend on the mic, just one. It's kind of hard to guarantee the quality of the stream for the casual observer if you've got like multiple people in there, like being a bunch of gremlins. I've had many issues with achieving that in the past. Oh, you see Slur. Good to see you. Oh. Really should use my webcam more often. It's still working, isn't it? Because like last time I streamed to Twitch, like the webcam like just kept freezing for some reason. But it may have been because I had like custom resolution options, and the drivers may have been like, "How about no?" So I'm expecting there was a reason for that. So. Oh, I see some cute Gusky emotes. There we go. Oh, yeah. Mostly detailing this area. Oh no, like, the funny thing is, like, the gamer laptop I bought, which was like 1400 MSRP, by the way, but I got it for much cheaper than that. Like, I think one of the reasons it was, like, on the cheaper end is because it didn't have a webcam, which is kind of nice. Even, I'm safe from even Zuckerberg when I use my laptop now. So yeah, I don't have a laptop webcam, or a lot of things really. That's why I have like, and the internal storage is pretty low too, like about 500 gigabytes, which is still a lot by today's standards, but with modern Windows, it's like, ooh, I'm gonna suck up like a quarter of this to myself. So. Take that, zucchini. Yes. So yeah, let's have a loop exit, I think. I'm trying to remember how I do those. Because I know I had some in oh, that's right, I did that with a downward slope. Never mind. So yeah, I do need to like expand the loop exit object to do more things because I don't have like any flat surface tiles that can be interacted with that manually, which is pretty annoying. Alright, so let's take... Oh, there's a fun idea. Assuming the player is moving quickly enough, they can traverse this gap without falling. And then I can have a loop exit situation. Maybe. Let's make Lilac go fast real quick. This is one of the benefits of a stage editor being built into a game. You can just test these things. Now, Lilac was going less than like the max speed limit and was still able to clear that, so it's pretty impressive. Oh yeah, there's still like no flat surface I can do that to. Now this is another thing I'm gonna need people to do is because like you know, if I'm having issues just casually having a loop go like this, somebody else making a stage with this editor is gonna be like, wow, Amy, what the fuck? Just okay, I am so sorry. Twitch.com, do not kill me for that. Oh. I do care a lot about having a professional presentation in public spaces, of course. Like, some people do say they remind me of like a teacher. I do care about that, but you know, I can't think of a single human that is not above the occasional F word. Yeah, that was the issue an hour ago. I accidentally let one out. But ideally, no, I like, there is a time and a place for those words, you know, like, you know, casual talk, but in this scenario, no, I broke my own rules. Oh, fudge. Yes. Oh, my lord. You know, when I was watching, like, the Christmas Story as a kid, I thought that's what the kid had thought. You know, I think they had censored the word, and I just thought, well, he's just saying fudge, so what's the big deal about that? Like, oh no, there's some adult humor there. I forgot about fiddlesticks. SpongeBob had all kinds of very wholesome equivalents to swears. It's quite fascinating in retrospect, I think. I love how they did a lot of things in that show. Fiddle and Barnacle Head has never stopped being funny for me. Like, that is just a very funny, yet it's such a goofy statement that you know it's not like you're not really trying to insult somebody by saying it. It's just being silly. It's so silly and funny at the same time. I just love that. Well, yeah, we don't have to have a looping exit condition here. We can just do that. You call it a particle hit. Yep, it's still funny. Oh my lord. Especially when Plankton was saying it. He was so good at like fake yelling, as I would call it, where he's like, you know, trying to be an assertive, angry, yelling character, but not at a volume that would be like, you know, actually alarming. Oh, Plankton? No. Who's the dinosaur? Barnacles. Now let's go look for some loot pieces. Oh, Barnacle the dinosaur. That would be new to me. I don't know anything about a barnacle the dinosaur. Oh, that's right. I was gonna put a loop here. I mean, a spring. Yes. And we do have a bunch of spring options now, but they're so mean I can't use them yet. It's gonna be like a stage 5 or 6 thing. Like, just look at this thing. It's so evil. I love that Onion just came up with it, and I was like, yes, we are so doing that. Cannot wait to just have a wall of these things for a stage. Y'all think Freedom Planet's an evil platformer? You ain't seen none yet. Ain't seen none. Oh. Oh, so that's Barney's full name? Barnacle. That would honestly be kind of funny if that was the case. Oh yeah, that's right. We do have metal shields, so you would be invincible that way. Let me double check that it is in fact the case, though. I don't know how many times where I've spoken definitively about a feature and then realized, oh no, that's not actually true. I need to go fix that. Sometimes your intentions don't match what's actually in the game. Oh yeah, so yeah, there are options to not get eaten by these things. Oh my god, that would be so evil, Alice Dance. A Freedom Planet pack that changes one spring corridor and relic maze with spring spikes. And yes, it's you always got to have one or two concessions, ideally, with any like harmful gimmicks like that. There has to be a way for the player to negate it. It makes them feel cool when they know a way around a particular hazard. And as well as like you know, keeping people on their toes with the campaign as they go, because like having like unexpected challenges in places like that throw people off in fun and interesting ways. Well, negating it by dying is also it's also a valid solution. Return to Castle Wolfenstein like had a hotkey specifically to like to despawn yourself if like you got stuck in some terrain collisions or something, but in universe they justified it as like, oh, because like you are a military spy, like you need to have cyanide tablets on hand so that you do not divulge information to the enemy, and you're never in a position where that's necessary. But in universe I just made the hotkey for killing yourself just sound cooler than it is. We all know it's just here's a how to get unstuck button. But it's a neat thing. Back when games had more limitations than features, like what else could you do? Oh, here I am, breaking my own rules again. I'm focusing more on the aesthetic of the stage than making the layout, but it's no good. We can worry about what is or isn't visible beyond the camera after we've made sure the stage layout is fun. That's very important. So. Let's see if that works. Oh yeah, we've got ceiling mounting working rather casually with this. That's good. And let's do this as well. Also need to be sure this scenario works. Yeah, I need to have a flat tile there. Yep. Ah, yes. That particular issue. So there are some limits in the collision system I need to work around. Let's make a very let's get one of these little tiles. Just put it right here. No. Grab this one up here. Put it there. That should work. Yes, that worked. There are some limitations with the collision system I still need to iron out. Like, that should be a valid solution without needing an extra step to hide the fact that it's only kind of working. Yep, scenery tiles can help you hide a lot of things. Well, except for inserts out of the box joke here. I was trying to come up with one and failed. Now I need to line this up with the ceiling. How tall do we want it? I like to have pretty roomy ceilings in Freedom Planet at least, because, like, cramped areas are not that fun to navigate. Like, I've had people tell me, like, the prior versions of Stage 1 and 2, they felt more like Mega Man stages than Freedom Planet, and they probably would have just been fine as Mega Man stages, but weren't very Freedom Planet-y, so yeah, we had to do something about that. Such as, like, redoing half of, like, the tile sets and the stage as well. Like, everything had to change. Now the whole, let's try Sonic 3's stage design thing just did not work out. Like, a lot of those cramped labyrinths in Sonic 3 mostly made sense because how tiny Sonic is and how slow and deliberate his movement also is. It takes you quite a bit to get from point A to point B unless you're trying very hard to earn more speed in Sonic. So, and I do have to use Sonic as a point of comparison a lot with this because, it's the nature of Freedom Planet is inseparably Sonic. We just can't get around that. Even with as much as Freedom Planet 2 tried to, like, divert itself away from, like, Sonic comparisons, it just can't, simply because, like, the character can, like, run up ramps and go through loops and ride on grind rails is Sonic. Just... There is no escape from this city, as they would say, probably. Right, so we'll make that pretty in a little bit. Right now I'm just concerned about, is it geometrically working? Ooh, yes. Smooth even. Now that feels good. That's also a valid reference, Argo. It's no use. A lot of people are streaming today, huh? Well, I mean, it is like a Tuesday. And I know a lot of people have like streams scheduled today as well, probably. And it's okay if you want to like watch other streams as well, because like I mostly like do pure game development and answering questions and stuff, and that can be interesting to watch, but it's not necessarily entertainment. Like if you want to be entertained, Dusky is just right over there, uh, making all kinds of irreverent jokes that you will never once see coming. You know, just very out of the box personality right there. Yeah, I would never fault people for like just hankering for entertainment in the moment, but for those who just like want to see, game development stuff, it's pretty nice. Oh, and I am forgetting that Dusky does occasionally also do like game development streams, so and in that case, it would just be a matter of like, what are you in the mood to watch streams of? Like, you want to see Havoc Fox or Freedom Planet being made? Just take your pick. And my recent return to streaming has a lot to do with, realizing, like if I was just wanting to stream to the general Freedom Planet and communities, like, they've already got lots of choices in terms of personalities. You've got, Spacey Bats and Arity and I think like several others. Like, and even Ashley has a VTuber model they're playing around with. Like, everybody's doing the VTuber thing now. It's quite an interesting time. So if you're just looking for VTubers, like, yeah, there's quite a bit of choice within the Galaxy Trail community and its satellites. Like, a lot of choice. And I felt like, I didn't want to encroach on that, but it's not like any of these YouTube stars are making any Freedom Planet content. Like, the FP2 people, they're taking a break from that for a while. They've got other things they want to do. So it's like, hey, I've got this, this Freedom Planet content niche on Twitch is probably free real estate right now. Like, why don't I just, just stream regardless of time, just whatever works within the work schedule I have. And if people want to watch, then we're winning. Doesn't matter how many. Like, I'm like not looking to make Twitch a career kind of thing. It's like mostly a business sort of thing, business exchange for me. It's like, hey, you want to watch me work on a video game? That's great. Just I don't know if I would ever turn monetization on for Twitch, honestly. Oh, and that's wonderful to hear, Alice Dance. Talk about us, like, wow, that was a long time ago too. Like, Freedom Planet 1's gonna be hitting its 10th anniversary this year. Y'all can believe that. Freedom Planet's old enough to go to school now. Now. Yeah, what's wrong with me? I can do that. Yay, we're old. Argo says. Yeah, very old moment. Oh, well, if they're still very much into Freedom Planet style content, well, then maybe I would be filling a unique void for them that no one else is right now. Because, again, the Freedom Planet crew, they've put 8 or 9 years into FP2, and they're like, their creative engines, like, they are just revving up to make something, new. Like, because even as I'm making this game right now, I am prototyping my future project after it, and like, it's so cathartic to be working on. It's like, oh my god, it feels so good to make something new. It's a wonderful feeling to work on new stuff. So it hurts when you've got these prolonged projects that take a while, and you're committed to finishing them because, like, like, for a multitude of reasons. Partly because your reputation probably depends on it in some cases. Like, unfortunately, we live in an industry where, the customer base can sometimes be a little ruthless with cancellations and things like that. Like, basically, quitters don't get to eat. That's a very hard thing to swallow. Because, people really don't like canceled DLC, canceled video games. It They never forgive you for it. It sucks. Oh. Wow, 32. I remember when I was 32. I'm going to be 35 this year. Don't feel like it. The 90s still feel like it was 10 years ago to me. Like, I can't accept that that was 20, no wait, 30 years ago. I can't. When I look at the Super Famicom right here on my desk and I think, this thing is almost as old as I am now. Oh no. Oh no. And I do want to brandish that thing during video game streams from time to time. Just be like, hey, don't give me, you stole that ROM stuff. I've got 2 of these things right here, friend. just to be funny. Okay, how am I going to fill this gap? What's wrong with me? I've been staring at this one cosmetic gap for like 2 minutes now. That's not how we be productive. There we go. No, that looks ugly. You can do better. Instead of patching around it. Oh, never mind, you say. I'm sorry to hear that, Alice Dance. It's not a fun place to be in. I know what it's like and it's no good. And I've recently learned, like, you know, dopamine and some other hormones are also attached to feelings like anger. And it's like, well, it's no wonder some of us are addicted to being angry, because, like, you know, in some weird, twisted way, being angry feels good. So we're just, our brains are attracted to negativity. That's all the more reason to push back against it. Like, you know, if we don't watch ourselves, we can just lose ourselves in that. And I do feel that, Alice Dance. I sometimes joke about being old, but I don't know if I want to admit to myself that I'm finally old and things like that, especially when I'm working. Like, lately I've caught my brain being like, see, I'm not that old yet. I did like 12 rooms on my shift today. I did my quota, like, and I'm not even tired. Then I go home and crash, and it's like, oh yeah, that's right. Reality is setting in. I'm old. Getting too old for this. Why did I give myself an 8-pixel gap here? It's just not fun. Okay, got a better idea. Most people aren't going to see this anyway, so let's, there we go. Why didn't I think of that earlier? That is so much better. Right. We'll do that. Quad espresso. Espresso, oh my god, that would... That sounds like a bad idea and a half. With half and half cream in it. Oh my lord. Oh yeah, this is an opportunity to hide some items up here. I should leave this up here for people to have access to. For now, let's just worry about making the obvious path fun to navigate. Ooh, I could even have them fall onto a loop and start running through it. Oh, that might be fun. One thing that's really fun to do in Freedom Planet is going down. Even the camera is biased towards downward movement. Like, you know, if you look at the camera, like, you don't have that much visibility going up, so naturally most of the platforming doesn't involve going up too much. except maybe Jake Creek, like that does have a verticality to it. But there's lots of gimmicks that help you jump from half of a screen's height at a time, so it's not too bad. Like, you don't really feel that screen crunch all too much if you're clever about how you do vertical platforming. But in my case, I did change how the vertical camera borders work in Shanghai Architect, because, like, having the cameras, like only pan upwards exactly at the pixels where you're touching the HUD is very limiting. You feel like, if you put some spikes up on the ceiling, then nobody's going to see it in time and hurt themselves. So what I did was adjusted the camera to behave more like Freedom Planet 2, which is really smart, by the way. It's kind of like 3/4 of the screen height. So I did something like 3/5 of the screen height, which means you have almost 20 extra pixels above your head that lets you see a lot more of what is ahead of you. And it's much nicer that way. I can do more vertical platforming without people feeling like they can't see. It's not being able to see what's ahead of you is such an annoying problem for platformers. It's one of the reasons, like, if you look at any of Nintendo's platformers on older consoles, the sprites for the players are very, very tiny. And that's so that you don't have that screen crunch problem. You feel like you have a lot of visibility despite how limited the resolution is. Because the player character is really small, and the world is scaled around their tiny sprites. So like if you play Super Mario World, you never feel like you can't see what's ahead of you. Like, it's just not a problem. And when you go to Sonic, it's not too bad there either, because you have even more screen space and the sprites are still tiny in comparison. And the HD remakes added even more horizontal resolution, so it's even less of a problem. And it's great. So. But that's why, sprites are pretty tiny in the retro days. People needed to see where they were going, above and below. Yeah, and it's also why, like, Radiant sprites could be so huge on the PlayStation, because, the 240p gives you a lot of room to work with. It's very huge. Then, you go to the Game Boy Advance port, which didn't shrink anything, and you can't see in front of you at all. It's like, it makes an already brutal game just basically impossible unless you've memorized where all the hazards are. And obviously most people aren't going to do that, nor should you have to. Wait, that worked as well, right? No, that stands out too much. There we go. This is another reason I want to implement the tiling brush, is so that we spend less time on this sort of thing. Like, you can just, with a tiling brush, you can just be like, okay, I'm gonna drag this over here, and the editor will already know exactly what tiles to place over it. And you're done. Just hold click, 2 swipes, done. Whereas right now it's like a process of clicking through multiple item menus. So just tab, 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 until you've got the structure you want. I think that definitely holds back the appeal of the editor as it stands right now. I'm sure there's a lot of people who would probably say it's cumbersome, but just haven't had the motivation or felt the need to voice those concerns yet. Because, it is not a finished game yet. And, people tend to, reserve most of their attention for finished games now. Because, in the fan game space, we've been very fortunate that there are more games that are finished now. So now we live in a market, so to speak. A market of, finished playable fan games, so it's less appealing to chase all these one demo wonders like in the past. Like, the only way to impress people now is not with a demo, but with a finished, or at least mostly finished, video game. Like, demos still have value, though, because, like, you can use them to, like, potentially recruit volunteers to your project. Like, I was fortunate to be swarmed by help when I first revealed Shane the Architect. I had composers and artists. I've still got all these people in the credits, and they're still around. Like, it's just it was, so even though I technically revealed the game too early, technically did, like, it was still very beneficial for the health of the project to put out demos and things like that. Like, yeah, people are by and large going to wait for the thing to be done. But for people who want to be part of the creation process, like that, demos can be very exciting because they can show, like, hey, this person is probably crazy enough to finish what they've got on display here. This is incredible. I want to be part of it. So that's why I still have, like, public builds and things like that, so people can see everything as we're working on it, and maybe potentially get some new volunteers too. And we do occasionally get some new ones. It's quite fascinating. Right. Now this is another thing I need to streamline, because yeah, this is very, very funky. So we place this node changer to, like, set the layer for this loop piece below. We put this big one here, like, okay, this is going to be the high layer. Then we have layer changers for what the player decides to interact with. No, wait, if we set it to low, they won't be able to go through it, so we need to set it to high so they'll interact with the high one first. This is quite silly, isn't it? A lot of early fan games had systems like this because it was just simpler. Not super optimal in a lot of ways, but, you know, it's a working solution. Now we have set this to high, set this to low. That should be enough so that the player doesn't phase through any of them in particular. Wait, that's too soon though. Right. Now that should just let the player fall through the loop and run through it, and that should be pretty exciting. Oh, that's right. I have spikes. I can finally start using spikes. We're on stage 4. Ooh. We could start being a little mean now, not very mean. Like, Bay High Bay is when I expect to start actually being a little bit mean to the player, like expecting more of them, rather. Like, okay, you're halfway through the game now. You should be able to dodge this wrench I'm about to throw at you. Cue a sound effect of somebody screaming at the top of their lungs. Just... I never watched the movie that the trailer is attached to, but I love this one dodgeball trailer that was like, if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge this ball, and they throw a wrench at somebody and he screamed. Oh my lord. Alright, so let's see how this setup works. Ooh. Now that's fun. You gotta have moments like that. It's probably like too steep of a drop, but I didn't want the loop to be like too close to this formation. Like, it just would have been like visually cramped to look at. In fact, I ought to like, yeah, we could put a spring over here so that more players will have the opportunity to enjoy that setup. Whoa. Now that's half of the fun of Freedom Planet right there. That's at least half of it. Is like, you know, high speed accelerating platforming shenanigans like that. I'm gonna need a flatter wall surface for that, though. Yeah. There we go. Got just the thing. No, I'm fueled by caffeine. That's why it sounds like a quote for something. I just can't quite put my finger on it. And I need to stop wrinkling my nose. That's a new habit I've developed. And I don't know where it came from. And it's so annoying because if I do it enough times, it starts to make my jaw hurt. And it's like, how does it even do that? I'm just wrinkling my nose. It's so weird. I never thought I'd have that habit, but here we are. Nope, just did it again. Ooh, we could make this a half pipe, too, probably. Ooh, that's too tight. So we'll just make it like a flat surface. Yeah, I'd better save that. Now we get to show off some other tiles that I've made for the set like ages ago. And making it look nice is going to be tough though, because I need to use all these layered pieces, and that was before I realized, you know, making a tile set like this is kind of a bad idea because it looks all cluttered and gross. So, like, these tiles are still going to be handy for some things, but, you know, lesson learned. Don't make tile sets like that. Because, like, the more elaborate the setup has to be, the more time you're going to spend making a level and more time spent revising it too. That's just not fun. Ooh, this is a good opportunity for destructible rocks as well. It's fun having things to hit in platformers. Where did I put it? Yeah, here we go. Breakable rocks. Let's try that. Did a ground cyclone. Yeah, that should be good. I could also probably have a spring here. Let's see if that works. Oh, I didn't have any layer setters, so it wouldn't be possible to like go through this in reverse. That's a problem. I have that now. Right, so yeah, it should be possible to go through it in reverse too. It's very important. Like, one thing I really like to do with stages is try to make them as backtrackable as possible. Sometimes, you know, you might see something on stage and be like, hey, wait a minute, I actually wanted to go look at that, and now I can't. It's the opportunity has passed. And Sonic Mania does have a lot of moments like that. I do think, for at least to some degree, it was intentional, because you know, with the way certain level gimmicks all are set up, it's not really possible to let people go back. Like, you know, say the, you know, a chamber fills with lava and the lava dries. Well, it's not like you can let people go back to it, so why wouldn't you block that section of the stage off to prevent that sort of thing? Okay, we probably don't want a situation where the stage can play itself, but it's just fun to play with springs. Just have the spring, let them go up a gap. Then I need to have a higher layer version of that to hide the rest of the spring. Oh yeah, I want to get rid of this too, because, you know, it just don't look right. So, Oh, better idea. Much better. You could use these scenery tiles as like support structures rather than using them to layer and cover up like niches inside inside of tiles that really shouldn't be there. So, much better idea. Looks like I'll need to raise the height of the stage some more though. Another thing that I forgot, is also very important to Freedom Planet stage design. Like, you really want the stage to like start at a high point and then like procedurally go down. Like, so like it's kind of like a roller coaster ride to some degree. So it's like you start high, you go through hills and valleys, you go down loops, and you just keep going down and down in fun and interesting ways. That's very important to the fun of Freedom Planet. Just as you'll notice, like even in Thermal Base with like the 7 maps that it spans across, like you're just procedurally going deeper and deeper into the bowels of this beast, more or less. So, yeah, one more time. Oh, yeah, of course we want this objective. Otherwise the bosses won't work. It won't behave right anyway. Go. Now let's grab the water height adjuster. Move it down some more. Now we have room for more stage, again. This was a feature that Dusky had even requested while working on the thing, but obviously they also wanted like, a lasso tool to like grab a group of tiles and move them around. And that is something I want to do as well in time. It would make the quality of life of the editing experience so much better. Ooh, we could have them jump onto a floating platform next to a wall. Just gonna make sure that you can reach the height. Yes. Move it down another 8 pixels so the implementation doesn't look hacky though. You ever want like lots of sudden jerks with the camera that just don't feel good? And in some ways it feels even worse at higher frame rates with video games too, is when the camera's all jerky. Oh yeah, walls. But better yet, this could be a point where we transition to the dirt again. Yeah, I think I want to do that. So let's go back to the snow tiles and have a temple in there. I think I like that idea. Well, stage is looking like this so far. Like we've actually got a layout started. And there's still a lot of work to do, obviously. And, now, so we'll do this. Have it go down. And then here, I'd also like to have like, an extra section of the stage where it's like, okay, there's like some little crevices you can jump down to for some goodies. How about that? It's more fun that way when there's like extra stuff to explore too in games. Yeah, it didn't need to be there, but somebody still took the time to do it anyway. Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot. This particular tile is 36 by 128 instead of 32 by 128, so the way it tiles is a little bit off sometimes. I really should fix that. Pretty nice. So you would Oh no, sometimes my filter doesn't catch me until it's too late. It was another one of those like numbered jokes the internet loves so much. Just had to avoid it. At least in this context, yeah, there's a time and place to be that kind of silly. Goodies, yes, like you gotta have little goodies hidden throughout the thing. You just gotta. Ooh, here's a point where I can have the grassy parts of the tile set show up. I much prefer the tiles that are just all grass for some reason. Where's the regular dirt? There we go. Well, here I am also analyzing myself even as I'm streaming as like when I was like thinking of the stream as like a business thing, I think a better term would have just been like, you know, a transactional kind of thing, maybe. Maybe that would have been a better term. I have lots of little thoughts in that, like my head, just thinking like, no, phrasing could still be better. Always could be. Alistat said, I am a goodie enthusiast. I see a goodie and I throw my whole body in that crevice like a brown recluse spider. This is my goodie and I will not share. That feeling of mine is very real in video games, isn't it? There's a reason like Borderlands 3 has a feature now where you can like start a co-op campaign with people where like everyone on their local side only sees loot drops just for them. Like it's not like a shared environment where everyone has to like pick goodies to pick up, like letting their friend have this or that. Like you can just have loot drops that are exclusive to your client side. I'm just like, geez, people get that greedy, huh? Just is that the only way to control the greed? But you know, it's the social component of the game in a nutshell. You know, you have to design a game, a multiplayer game for people, not, you know, bots. What else can you do? Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's still solid. You can work with that. Can Mila go through this crevice that I've created, though? Okay, she can't force herself through it. We're good. Oh, yeah, instance drops. Yeah, that's a good way to put it, I think. So, like, yeah, when items spawn in on your client side, like, you're the only one who can see that. So everyone gets their own goodies on their side, basically. I think it's a pretty clever idea to, like, keep, especially the randomized online play pretty, like, civil for the most part. Like, what else can you do? Like, people complain about these things a lot, so that's a nice little quality of life option, but you have to, like, set it per campaign that you play. It's not like something you can just turn on and off, so you're very committed to that if you do pick it. Oh, Mila. Your Flutter enables all kinds of things that should not be right in a normal platformer, because normally, you know, like, the player would just do this, but then Mila's just like, flutter, flutter. kicks her little legs and destroys the universe. She put in zero. She put in divide by zero on the calculator and things just happened. No, that looks clunky. Oh, I could address this by having a cliff edge right here, so. Mila is a neutrino confirmed, as Alistan said. Yep, that's what she do. There, now she can't do it. She can only be this stupid. The collision system is warning her that she's not allowed to do that now. You can solve a lot of problems with just stage design. That's something even like Blizzard people figured out. Like that pirate software guy was explaining once that the one way they could catch bots was like they put a rock on the usual programmed routes that the bot players would have, and all of them would get stuck on the rock, and they would figure it like, yep, that's a bot player. Ban. Such a clever way. You don't always need like kernel level anti-cheat or anything to catch these people. You just have to like put a rock in their way. Like we just did. We just put a rock there. Now Mila can't be stupid. Oh, spoke too soon. Need to make the rock more pronounced. Like this. Working around Mila is an interesting challenge. Yes, Alistan, as I was saying. Yeah, I can figure it out. I just needed to prevent this by having the rock at just the point before the ceiling mounting condition triggers. Oh no, she's still doing it. But she's not allowed to go any further than that. Designing levels for Mila is an interesting thing. Like, I remember, like, during the private beta, like, they had an update on the Steam branch for a fix for more of Mila's shenanigans, and it ended up, like, breaking the entire game. So they had to revert it. It's like, oh my god, they were trying to tame the dog before release, and it just wasn't working. So, yeah, just don't bother with Mila. You just gotta put some rocks in her way some of the time. That's all you can do. You can't program for these things. Not always, anyway. And you're right, Creeper. Mila's not listening. You gotta love dogs, because, like, you know, like, they love us, they pay attention, they know what we're saying, but also, when they want to do their own thing, they're gonna do it. Yep, and yeah, that's what I was saying, like, you know, Stacy tried to tame Mila, Prototype from Starbuster tried to tame Mila, Will from his other game projects, he couldn't tame her. Spectator couldn't do it either. Just everyone tried. But no, the dog will do what it wants. Like, she will only play on her leash when she wants to. It's kind of like the dog who knows how to get out of the leash, and they just kind of like stay on the leash because they know to the human that is good behavior, and that's how they get what they want. Because, you know, if the human perceives that they're being a good dog, they get more treats. So for them, the leash is just a courtesy. It's not actually stopping them at all. They're smart. Smarter than we give them credit for. And when they really don't want to play by that rule, they just slide out of it and like, yeah, I'm gonna go after this rabbit. Sorry. I am sorry, but that is... I want to chase. I am dog. I see animal. I must chase it. And I've had a dog who's like a Houdini at leashes. Like he just like we had to get the chest collar because she just knew exactly how to slip out of the neck collars every time. And I thought I was gonna crush her larynx at some point with that anyway, despite the fact that her neck was so strong. Like she would pant like she was choking for 12 seconds straight and would just be totally fine. Like practically dragging me across the yard because she saw a squirrel. Just squirrel, squirrel. I see the squirrel. I was chained to trace squirrel. Why are you not letting me go after the squirrel, human? This is what you wanted me to do. Just... oh. So yeah, Mila is like that kind of dog. Like she just have to give her treats and tell her to pretend to be on the leash most of the time. Come on, just pretend for me, okay? Just gotta make the other humans like happy with it too. There we go. Don't know why I decided to just put wood there. Now we have normal Metroidvania moment right there. So if somebody does like slip through the intended layout, they'll find some stuff they can go after. Hmm. Just thinking. What am I thinking here? How terrible it is when you're even asking yourself what you're thinking. So, do this, that, and then have the wooden beam over here, so we can there we go. Nope, we don't even need to have this gap filled in. Mila's clever, but she cannot get through flat surfaces that are that thin, at least. It's the sloped surfaces where she likes to be an issue. I forgot I made it that easy to just do a super burst. But no, she can't get through it. Just leave it like that and it look nice and organic. No interconnected tiles that look all sloppy and stuff. Then, see, even all these little detours in video games that you don't think about too much have a lot of thought put into them. Oh, it's Doggo. Hello, friend. The derpy bug. I love that. And we just happen to have dog right now. It's like I summoned you with Mila. Maybe. Oh, puppy. It's good to see more of my friends here. Let's get some water up there. Yeah, we could have some mud water there. Just to be interesting. Aw. Well, that's appreciated, friend. Saw the cute dog. Stay for goat. Now, I'll probably like in the stream for like 4:15 or so. Like the plan is to just stream for 2 hours on Twitch and then do the rest on Discord for the rest of the day, so that people have a chance to like converse with me, you know, answer questions, like, ask me questions that I can then answer. Yeah, because like I do feel like the Twitch environment does like allow a lot of the Q&A stuff on developer streams like pretty nicely, but there's there's something really nice about being able to shoot the breeze with people, especially when they're your friends too. So, oh, how does that look? Well, that looks a little messy. Scared myself by tapping that key and not realizing, oh, that's to switch Mila's abilities. The bomb cube feature is so underused that even I forget I can do it. Even I forget it's a feature. Yeah, we can just leave it like that. So just like maybe move the mud pools a little bit too low. Wait, you've never seen the bomb cubes before, Argo? Have you missed them? Yeah, that was something I spent an entire month on coding and improving the way Mila's cubes work in general, just to facilitate that. I thought, oh, this would be a really compelling feature. Oh, that's good to hear, Doggo. Oh, you've seen them but forgot that wind-up animation. Yeah, it is pretty funny. I was pretty proud of it when I made it. Just like pumping up a bicycle tire. Alfred Mila. Look at Mila with her fun little inventions. There we go. The barbecues. That was so funny, Argo. Like, yeah, it probably would help visually distinguish them if I did make them spiky looking barbecues. Bouncy root beer is also a valid comparison. So, yeah, I think this is a good enough little detour. Let's get back to the main path. Forgetting about it. As you can see, I get distracted very easily. That's why I spend a month on getting translations and other things to work. And I was very proud of it, but I was like, oh wait, that's right, we've got a video game to make. There has to be a finished video game for people to care about all this localization work. Oh no. Gotta have that too. So yeah, I've been dumping more attention on like campaign content lately. I just gotta focus on that. Get the campaign done, then we can worry about like polishing everything else and adding more content. And I do have more surprises for y'all after the campaign's done. I ain't gonna be entirely done with the game after that. Some people are gonna like be hollering with tears if some of these ideas are going. Evil laughter noises. I'm bored. Right, now another sip of my coffee. It's another reason I only want to stream for 2 hours at a time, because like with me being the one to talk primarily, like that's a bit of a strain on my voice. So I don't think I could keep that up for 6 hours and also be interesting at the same time. Like basically quality over quantity. That's, well, the idea anyway. Execution's always its own other thing. Oh no, I'm getting distracted again, as always. Oh yeah, that's right. I should like go back and add these little hills to flatter parts of the stage. Oh wait, no, we're using rocks, so no. Ixnay on that idea. Well, that's neat. It's a nice 5 seconds of gameplay right there that we just spent an hour on. That's Sonic game development for you right there too. You'll spend hours on just that. All these things. Really looking forward to seeing how Sonic Studio would streamline a lot of like stage design shenanigans like this. That's right, we can also have some rocks inside the dirt that would make it more interesting. It's like one thing I forgot to do with this tile set is like make multiple types of dirt tiles so that you could have like, okay, you've got your surface layer of dirt, you know, then you've got, you know, like these different layers of clay and soil types. You know, as you go further into the dirt, like that's something I do want to take into account with like future game projects and Doggo said I've spent 12 hours on this one level and somebody's like, cool, wanna watch me beat it, and one did it. Yeah, best game development for you. Very much so. Wanna watch me do it again? Now that is speedrunning in a nutshell. Just SpongeBob saying, wanna see me do it again? This time a bit faster. Oh yeah, this like stretch right here would also be a good opportunity to like have a bee moment. We can introduce the bees in this part of the level, yes, because they are now part of the campaign too, like it or not. We brought back the most hated enemy in Freedom Planet 1. Which I think are wasps, but we all call them bees, because, you know, it's just... I don't know why, the internet just loves to be like, F bees. Yeah, like we'll have them be right here on this stretch, and then start going more vertical. And the rest of the stage I would probably try to keep more geometrically interesting. Like, yeah, because we started off pretty reasonable, we got these flat surfaces right here. And... oh, yeah, Brevin soldiers are pretty mean, yes, so like, they definitely take the cake when it comes to that. There's no doubt about that in my mind. Oh, that's right. I was also gonna have temples and stuff in the stage. Let's go back and add a little, some cute scenery to suggest what's ahead. Never want to add too much scenery. Just it's kind of why I like Mario Maker. Like just kind of auto generates a lot of scenery details because, like, yeah, it would be nice to have manual control of it, but at the same time, like you only need like a tasteful amount of scenery in any given context. Oh, I just realized with all the house tiles I made for the hub area, we could have the player crash through the house as well. That might be fun. Wouldn't it be fun just like, oh, there's just this cabin out here in the middle of the mountain, we're just gonna crash through it and find an enemy in there. Wouldn't that be funny? Just... And given the fact that these are wasps or bees, gotta have some trees for them to coalesce around. There we go. Okay, we'll first start off with the ant bomb. It's like that's like the most. No, like no. Yeah, we could have the ant bomb be like around here, so. And just start the stage off with him somewhere around here. Let him harass the player a little bit. Yeah, I think I made him too high up because he's not like going after the player. Need to have him scan further down. Or maybe I don't, because like then you could place him in scenarios where he could attack the player from off screen, and people really, really don't like it when platformers have enemies that hit you from off screen. It's like an enormous irritant to a lot of people. And yes, Lilac would definitely hate the wasps the most. We also have like one that it is named the Wasp that Leaf made, and these are much meaner. Like they have more health and don't go down easily, and they repeatedly sting you too. Oh, well, Mila can just casually defeat them. As usual. Yeah, that's like their defining difference between them and the regular wasps. They can repeatedly sting you. Just keep hunting you. But these guys, they have like a little timer that prevents them from being that evil. That's another thing I need to make, is like a wasp nest for them to come from as well. That way they could be extra annoying. Yeah, so... Where's the other one I spawned? I could have swore I spawned 3 of them. Oh, he's all the way over there for some reason. Leveled editor only issues. Right there. Yeah, we could have like a wooden block tile. And, somewhere in here. Wait, no. Yeah, just trying to keep the scenery reasonable, don't add too much. I have an abandoned camp here, because why not? Just somebody who made the mistake of like camping here. The stories that tell themselves. Like that one Fallout picture that everyone shares with me where like a metal fan, like a metal desk fan had like its guard exposed and was just laying over someone's groin, like a skeleton's groin, in an abandoned building somewhere. It's just like, yeah, that one tells itself. Just a terrible way to go. One of those things you don't even want to think about. Yeah, there we go. That'll look good. Then use this opportunity to introduce them. And also maybe the wasps. Yeah, that way there's like some distinguishing variety. So it's like, okay, we have the regular bees from Freedom Planet 1 that you really didn't like, and we also have the worst version. And even the description discourages you from placing them in large groups. It's, it's designed to act as a standalone enemy. So yeah, this flat area could just be used to introduce these rascals. Yeah, it's too high up. The scanner is like not low enough for that. Oh my lord. It will almost go beyond its own boundary boxes to go after you. Oh, even Dawn's live? Well, today is just peak Twitch day, isn't it? I can only imagine what their operating costs look like right now. So, maybe we could put another floating platform here. Kind of don't like... maybe that would look more reasonable. Yes. This one, like, I like the aesthetic of it, but it's really sharp and jagged looking and doesn't match the aesthetic of these others, so a floating platform tile that looks like the others should be more like thematically coherent. Well, maybe. Just try all you want all day, but to someone out there, your theming will probably be off somehow in a way you didn't consider before. Oh, yes, like this could be the point where, like we go inside a temple and, ooh, yes, that would be fun. Oh yeah, that's right, like this isn't gonna be our main background, so... Oh. I got plenty of rest, I swear. I'm just getting a little stiff. Yeah, so let's like also introduce like what the stage is going to entail. Oh wait, that's right. We have the runaway NPCs now, so yeah, this is like one of the things that was delaying the starting of this this stage. Is like, yeah, here we go. Lilac, catch me if you can. Here we go. Yeah, I've been eating some veggies, and I got some fresh ones recently too. I've been eating like more broccoli and cauliflower. I was getting kind of bored of eggplant. Like, eggplant is great because you can get a whole lot of plant material for like £1. Like, but I was getting tired of eating it, so I just switched it up with broccoli for a little bit. And I've been chopping my own onions to save money too, because you could get like a whole lot of onion for just $1. So, why not just like crack open the kitchen door while you're chopping some onion stuff so you don't suffer. It's not too bad. So we have running NPCs. We have Lilac right here. Okay, we'll wait to introduce the Wasp because I need to have like a running NPC here. We're gonna have Carol complain like, hey, no cheating. No cheating. Look at her go. Yeah, then we could run into the temple. So let's go ahead and get that set up. Ooh, have a bridge there. Yeah, Creeper was like, Carol just has skill issues. Well, don't tell her that if you want to live. Funny, but true. She did have some skill issues in Freedom Planet 1. But then she got good and super confident about herself in FP2. Now, yeah, let's go inside a temple. How about that, y'all? Ooh, we could have a Torii up here, now that I'm thinking about it. Can we? Oh, yes. This is just the right size for one. That'll look nice. Won't work for the bridge, though. Be too cluttered everywhere else, too, maybe. Yeah, it'd probably make more sense to put the Torii here. It'd be kind of visually cluttered to have around this guy, maybe? Maybe. So, sometimes you're never too sure of yourself. See how this looks. Yeah, this looks fine. Not too complicated. And Mila can just casually defeat Ant Bomb. Mila's scary. Y'all love temples too. She's so beautiful. Hey, no cheating. Oh, Carol. She is such a child and we love her. Ooh, that's right, we have this too, but we'll save it for the temple, so. Where is the temple tile set? In here. Here we go. That's the worst thing about Mila, she can cube you to pieces in a panic. Not even wittingly do so. Don't mess with the puppy, or she'll mess up everything. Oh yeah, there's another revision I want to make to like the night, like the ninth cutscene, I think, where it's just a cute little cutscene that ends on a happy note, like, yay, we're going to the mountain, but I want to have like a thing at the end where there's like explosions happening off the right, the off screen to the right hand side, and Mila is just running around in circles panicking, like, no, I swear I didn't do it. She's like, just screaming at the top of her lungs, like while the explosions and camera shaking's happening, and then like Haraj, the cat chef inside the academy, he just kind of slides in a slumped position, like, we really need a wet floor sign. He's just like, he's got like smoke particles coming off. Just got burned really bad. And then like, you could go to his little food stand after the cutscene, and he'll have like a huge bandage on his thumb that is like 3 times as big as his hand. He's like, I'm okay. Hey, it's okay. I can still cook for you. We're good. Just more worried about his ability to make food than the fact that he just had like a gas fire explosion or something, and Jamie, one of the inspectors, is just like thinking to himself, just so guffawed by the whole thing, like, we're never gonna get this academy open on time like this. Just gas lines. No, just, yeah. Well, that's another thing on the revision table. That'll be funny. I just like good world building. not everybody who plays platformers cares about that sort of thing, but for the people who do, it's nice to give them a little food here and there, little snack. Hmm. 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 Well, I'm not surprised. Like, Freedom Planet 2 does have a lot of world to look at. That's one of those things that definitely made me care a bit more about world building, was like the way Freedom Planet 1 approached it and the ways that I wished it could have expanded on it further. But, with the limitations that Click Team Fusion 2 presented to the development of the game, like they had to cut out all the hub worlds and stuff that it was going to have, which is pretty sad, I think. It's one of the things I really wanted to bring to this fan game was the hub areas, like a seamless experience where you're just entirely within the game world, like from stage to cutscene to hub world maps to trains, just you can just completely immerse yourself in that world without having a map between you and it, just no abstract barriers between you and the world. Although I do want to add like a map menu to one of the kiosks at the train stations, so that if people do find the Metroidvania-esque way of navigating the hubs just a little too confusing for themselves, because you'd be amazed how many people just don't have a sense of direction with 2D video games, and they just don't care to engage with that. So yeah, I would have a map screen at a kiosk for them to interact with as a concession for people who would just rather okay, I just want to go straight to this hub, then straight to the level. Just take me to the level content, I want to consume this content, please. Just let me do it. And it's okay to have concessions like that in your game. It doesn't trivialize the existence of any other piece of content in it. Now, I know there was some discourse around the stream, these seamless quick travel in Spider-Man 2. It's just oh my god, why go anywhere when you can just open the map and do that? And I'm over here thinking look, I get it, you don't want to engage with that, and that's okay, but it's not like you have to engage with it. Not that big of a deal. Some people just don't want to engage with video games in that way. And that's okay. Yeah, and I do like Metroid games a lot. Lately I've been hankering to play Metroid Dread again and Super Metroid. Just such good video games right there. But I'm drowning in other things I want to do. I've been playing Luigi's Mansion 30-minute spurts again, just busting ghosts in a Metroidvania-like setting with Luigi. Just who would have thought, a vacuum cleaning Metroidvania would be so interesting? But even to this day, I still love that. It's just so good. Let's see. It's kind of like one of those experiences where it's the more you play it, the more you love it. I just can't get enough. I definitely felt that way with Metroid Dread too. It's my first run was a little rough, but I was engrossed in it, and then my second playthrough I saw all the things I missed, and I loved the game even more. It's oh my god, this is just such an immaculately put together video game, oh my god. So yeah, that's one of the reasons like I wanted to have like a seamless experience even without really going the Metroidvania route with the Academy campaign. Like, and it definitely won't have like backtracking moments either, because I know like there's a lot of people who really, really don't like backtracking, and I would not want to just throw that into a platformer that previously had no concept of it. You know, just don't do that. When you're working with established properties, you have to consider like, are you making it for the same audience that was here for the original experience? You know, like obviously fan games can be more than the template provided to you by the original property, but you know, if you like, I've always approached them with the philosophy that like, yes, it is not an officially licensed video game, but I'm still going to treat it like one. Like, it will be like a whole new experience from scratch with new assets, but made to parallel the original experience as much as possible while doing something new with that, with the template that we're given. And yeah, it was one of the reasons Sabrina was okay with me just doing the Patreon for Shane the Architect. Was like, well, it's a whole original thing, you know, with like all new stuff, so it felt better to authorize that than if it was just like, you know, a fan game, you know, slapped together with like, you know, pre-existing sprite assets, like it was just, you know, a ROM hack. So that philosophy is literally getting me paid right now, basically. Not saying everyone has to go that route, but I've noticed that with like fan games that go really far off the template, like that one detective game involving Sonic, like that's now its own original thing because it was just such an extreme deviation from the property. It may as well have been an original thing, so they just made it one. And that's going to be much better for them too. Like, it is very artistically interesting, and I'm happy for them. I really hope that that goes somewhere for them. Like, that's what I want to see, just people finding success with the experiences they want to create. There's an audience for more things than you would ever imagine, like, you know, AAA publishers have by and large abandoned, like, you know, CRPGs and, or is it called ARPGs? I forgot. But, and, you know, you go to Baldur's Gate 3's release and it is selling gangbusters. You know, just, that genre didn't die, that just nobody was making them anymore. Solarian just stepped up to the plate. And that's a good thing, I think. Anyway, we've had enough flat surfaces. Let's start to mix it up a bit. Try to make this temple experience interesting. I'm going to very conservatively borrow assets from the temple. Although if I really wanted to, I could make entirely new tiles that are just... Yeah, it would look a lot better if there were assets made just for this, yeah, so let's not do that. Like, it's one thing you really can't do with a platformer is, like, you know, some of the best ones in the genre, like, don't reuse a lot of stuff. You know, it kind of works with, like, Donkey Kong and Mario, because, like, they do quite a bit, like, they just kind of have, like, 6 or 7 tile sets, and, like, make a bunch of really short, interesting levels with like, sometimes entirely new gimmicks inside each one. And, that format of platformer they did was just, like, it works really well for them, but in our case, like, with Freedom Planet, like, the experience is best when everything is like done from scratch for each level. Like no gimmick or use for the most part. Like very few enemies that appear frequently. Like you've got Turritus and some others who appear a lot, but for the most part, you have a lot of enemies that there isn't a whole lot of reuse between levels. Like each level introduces like a lot of new gimmicks, a lot of new enemies, and variants of existing ones. Kind of like the Turritus in Jade Creek that has like jungle, like camouflage on it and things like that. Like that was a cute little variant. It just telescopes out of a bush and shoots at you. That's just cute, Like that keeps things fresh and keeps you on your toes too. Yeah, let's do some stuff involving ladders. That ought to be fun. Also, like, yeah, let's do that too. Probably would look better if this wasn't here, so let's just get rid of that. Yeah, so I'm gonna, again, another reason is don't get too attached to scenery, because you might have to rearrange everything a lot. So, yeah, here we go. I think that's what I'll do. Let's get this big tile. Yeah. Then you gotta do to move this too. That's right, this is like technically a scenery tile. Then, okay laptop, I get it, like, yeah, being 59 degrees Celsius for a couple hours ain't fun. Getting a little loud, but thankfully, it's a pretty well-built laptop, so, it's not screaming like a hairdryer like my desktop. Oh, it was good to see you, Alice Dance. I'm sorry you gotta go, but I'm always happy to see you around. I hope you have a good afternoon as well. Right, now all the more reason not to get attached to your scenery, because I just gotta jackhammer all this stuff away and attach it more cleanly to this thing right here. Yeah, that's what we want. This, that. And another reason I want the auto tiling brush to be a thing. Because all of this would be super fast if I had it. And it's over here. And this up here. Oh, and I didn't even think of what would go in here. And yes, get rid of that. Got these flat surfaces here. And yeah, let's just do that too. That does look cleaner, so. Oh, and Mila can sneak inside of it. Well, I had a flat one there. Oh, no, I didn't, that's why. I think I've spent enough time on the entrance to the temple. Now, y'all can probably see why, like, stage designers can spend multiple shifts on a single level, because, like, they've been apparently streaming for 2 hours and 15 minutes, and just look at, like, the amount of things that are done within that time. And I've been trying not to focus too much on scenery. And all the alternate paths that we gotta add to it, little detours. Like, I think I've spent like close to 3 weeks on one stage's layout sometimes, because there's just so much to take into consideration. Now, thankfully, the fact that Freedom Planet levels like have choke points where two paths like to merge together. Because of that, there's like less stage content you have to make for Freedom Planet than if it's a regular Sonic game. That does help a lot. And I would hope that puts into context why a lot of fan games don't get finished. Because, dear God, like you could spend almost 2 months on a Sonic level just because of like how labyrinthian they can get and how all of those paths can intersect with each other. Like, do the gimmicks have the right synergy that you want? You know, it's a lot of work. Oh yeah, that's right. You have a bell as well. Would it be possible to add that without it looking all cluttered? Now, I don't want to put a bell here because the gimmick focus right now is just like lilac being right there. So for, yeah, then here, like the focus is Carol, so can't have a bell there either. But we can have a the bell be the focus here. So let's do that. Let's try to keep platforming more interesting from now on. Like this particular area would be more fun if there was like multiple paths. So that's what I'm gonna do here. Like this would be like a block to partition different paths from each other. Then a bell would be right up here, and maybe a bell down here as well. Oh, that's right. I have the I have a gimmick that I need to use for this. Where is it? Where is it? Yeah, we have this thing. Oh, in fact, it would be probably more fun to have this here than that little rock platform. Maybe. Let's just slap this over here and see. No, if somebody's going fast, they're gonna miss it half the time, so maybe not. Yeah, it would be more fun if the bell hammer was like right here, so. There we go. Let's get rid of the ladder up there. And then have the Oh, whoops, there isn't a flat surface tile that the sensor for this thing can recognize. So what I need to do, have an itty bitty tile right here, so that it knows to fall that way. Grab this and place it on a higher layer so it can't be seen. And well, Creeper, I can say that I didn't get that far into a lot of levels for my older projects. It takes a lot of, you know, vision and persistence to see these things through. Like, and that's a learned thing. Like, nobody learns how to do that overnight. It took me years to, like, finally get to a point where, no, I was able to, like, see things through and bring things to reality. And boneless cats is pretty accurate here. Oh Lord. Oh wait, that's right, we could make this geometrically interesting as well. Let's see, so... have this, that, and this one. Place it up here. Have these in here. That should look interesting. As soon as I get in the temple, they're greeted with the bell hammer, which will strike one of the bells down here. Now, hopefully we could like place the bell somewhere like right here and it will strike it. Yes. I like what is natural than if, you know, because these things are supposed to like hit the bell from the endpoints, like right here, there, normally. So this is kind of janky. So what I need to do is like, see, dig more stuff out. But we got to jackhammer this away. Now. Oops, trip with the bug. There we go. Alright, so then have the bell be like somewhere around like right here maybe. Yeah, that's much more natural. And you kind of want like the bell chamber to be pretty roomy anyway. Although, yeah, like the point you're supposed to strike the bell is like right here on the center, because like that's where the there are some surfaces like that are designated to be struck there. So yeah, the bell does need to be a little bit higher up still. And I could have like a little hook anchoring it to that point. Yeah, that looks more natural there. Yeah, then we can have some platforming that takes place over here, like a little slope that you can jump through. That'd be good. And Oh, what to do about that? So, yeah, need like a. You know, again, this is Freedom Planet too, so everything needs to be a little roomy. Oh, but yes, we can have a little curve here. And oh yeah, like boneless cats are a lot of fun. Like the few times I have gone to Dusky Streams, it was just like boneless cats everywhere. It's pretty funny. It's a good gimmick. It's a very valid, relatable feeling too when somebody posts boneless cats. It's like, yep, that's how I feel right now. So, no, but not visually aesthetically pleasing. I try not to sound like Donald Duck when, like, the chipmunks are messing up his little toy train set with all of his perfect little painted trees and houses. Like, alright, so that should be pretty nice looking. Oh, but I want to curve some more. Which involve that, probably. Oh, I remember too. Kind of funny to watch like those old cartoons as an adult and like be more observant of all the things you missed as a kid. When you're just a kid, just like, haha, stupid duck gets in trouble with these little chipmunks, you know, just man versus nature kind of things, you know. It's a pretty universal struggle and a funny one depending on the show. But, you know, going back and watching it, it's like, oh my god, Donald causes literally every problem he finds himself in for the most part. He couldn't help it with the ostrich. That's just the thing that happened. He couldn't help that one, but for most trouble he finds himself in, he caused it himself. With a devilish smile, like, oh, I'm really gonna mess with him now, this will be so funny, and then it backfires on him and he just gets so upset on it, like, oh, why me, you know? But you did it, Donald. You did it to yourself. You stepped on that shovel. And I've seen, like, similar observations of like Jimmy Neutron and some of the older shows I used to watch. Like, oh, you know, that kind of makes sense, yeah. There's our little divot that we can put some goodies in. I said the word goodies. Where are the eyeballs? We can put something special in here. For some reason, inside of temples, I like putting like wood shield flowers. And yes, thank you for the eyes, Creeper. Oh Lord. Plenty of eyeballs for the Cthulhu spaghetti. thinking something. Yeah, we could put these over here too. Be aesthetically sensible. Still like this gimmick. This is pretty neat. Now, oh yeah, I can put a hang bar over here, just for fun. I like hang bars in Freedom Planet for some reason. It's just yep, Simple ain't finished yet, so we could just fall completely down the mountain. I don't think we want to hear a puppy cry all the way down. Nope. I think this is fine for like the inside of walls. Yeah, so we could just designate this tile as like, okay, this is a wall tile. You see this is a wall. You gotta set up visual expectations for scenery and things like that. Which means by that logic, this should be that too. You see this? That's a wall. Then we can use like the other sliding door panels for other things that are visually interesting to look at. Oh, well, it's good to see you, doggo. I'll see you later then. Oh, always good to see my friends. There we go. Oh, now we can center this thing over here much better. Oh, I just realized I could make more extensive use of the boostrings maybe in the stage. Yeah, it'd probably make more sense to use the boostrings like once we get into the more cave side of the area, because like they'll have like crystals and stuff. And this thing makes like crystal sounds and such, so it'd be nice and pretty for that occasion. So yeah, for the second half of the stage, we could like have all kinds of elaborate boostring setups. Stretching again. Some coffee to figure out this layout. Alright. Okay, so now I'm making proper use of the mallets to hit the bells. And yeah, let's like have a platform not too far from there. Oh, whoops. Here. Yeah, Carol would definitely think you're cheating if you used a boostring. She is such a child, but we love her. Wouldn't have it any other way with the kitty. This wouldn't. Shouldn't be able to see anything outside the camera with this. Look at. Oh, yeah, I could make this more interesting with steps. I love steps. They're geometrically interesting. Hmm. That's right. I do have some like sloped terrain I could use with this, like I can have this. Yeah, that's something Carol should have thought about when she wrote the rules of engagement. Right, and and because of another limitation of the collision system, like, or another bug that I haven't fixed, rather, I'll need to like place a little slope tile in here. Just hide it with a slope tile so that this smoothly transitions from like slope surfaces to flat without any camera jerking. That's much nicer. And so here. Oh yeah, for anyone who can catch the hang bar, there'd be like some little goodies hiding here for them. I should put it lower though. That'll do. Yeah, Carol players could reach it with some difficulty. Yeah, they could get in there. And Lilac players could just boost in here. Okay, so yeah, there'd be a little goodie in here. Some kind of goodies. Ooh. That'll be worth going for. Oh, you gave me 4 eyeballs instead of 3 this time. That's good. In the economy of eyes, they're... I guess Cthulhu can't have enough of them. Not that I know how to pronounce that name properly, I just never even read any of those books. Just... Oh lord. Cap this one off. Yeah, there we go. We can have this under here too. That'll be fun. Yeah, let's just place a couple of these throughout the level. Just give people fun things to hit. Because it's fun hitting things, isn't it? In video games. Hmm. No, not directly in the path of an enemy, at least. Hmm. Hmm. And for a second there, I was worried OBS wasn't recording my voice, but I forgot that I was putting my mic through a separate input tab, so just scared myself for a second. Like, hey, I know I didn't unmute myself. Oh Lord. Right. I think that one right there is good. And another one can be inside the water. Yeah, that looks good to me. And, aesthetically speaking, yeah, it would be nicer if there's just wood here, so. Get rid of the floating platform. Oh, too far out. So. Just, there we go. Bury that in. Well, that's still too high up as well. Try it again. Still a bit too tight, maybe. Try it again. It's like occasionally you will get odd edge cases where it's perfect, or if it's moving. Like, it's all dependent on like the exact decimal points of the way people are moving sometimes. Yeah, if somebody's not moving at like max speed, it will just connect fine. And even if it is, like, you're still gonna land, it'll just look funny. That's good enough for me. Let's get some ladders in here. Or, well, there's no reason I couldn't have springs down here too. Like, absolutely none. Okay. Oh, wait, but this does mean I can finally have the carousel up here. Maybe. Hopefully it doesn't look too cluttered. this is fine. Then, yeah, I realize I've been streaming for nearly an hour longer than I planned to, so another 15 minutes, I'll call it. So I suppose now you can see that like 3 hours of sincere development time gets you like 1/30th of a stage sometimes. And that's without like ripping stuff out and trying other things. Oh, Let's see. So, yeah, no, it looks better like that. I probably shouldn't worry about what the ceiling of the place looks like until I figured out what the body of the stage layout looks like. Then I could define what the ceiling looks like. Wasted time is something you have to think about a lot when making these things. Like, I could go ahead and make that right now, but I want to go back and change it later. Eternal struggle. Oh, yeah, there we go. Yeah, sometimes your scenery tiles can define how things look. Oh, whoops. Then, oh wait, no, we're gonna need this. Maybe? No, I think already confusing myself. Yeah, just concentrating a thumbnail, sorry. You can have oh yeah, I do need to think about what other gimmicks that we have to work with for this stage in particular. Well, I already used the spike walls for bouncy launcher, which is like in Blast's stage that he made. Hmm. But we can't have the bomb cube generator for like a vertical section. That would be pretty fun. That's right, we could have a campfire over here. What would happen if we just assume the player is simply running? Okay. They're gonna fall down, so what would we do in that case? I think we would need another platform. So, go back to the tile sets. Yeah, we could have another shape like this, but put it over here. That should save some time. Oh, well then. I forgot. Okay, now we can hurry it up. So. Now that looks fine. So if we assume the player is just holding right, we'll just fall onto this shape and they can still see that the bell struck, like over here. See some goodies here. What about enemies? Can't really have too many in a temple, but we can't have like a turret here. He is just such a common foe. So if the player is just like, oh, well, I fell down here, let's go see what's over here, and they falls down there, and have a turret to deal with, this little rascal will have the high ground for a moment. There we go. Nah, his positioning would be much better here. It is just incredible to me how precise his attacks are. He only fires at like a specific angle, a specific range every time, but somehow he can hit you in a lot of different positions. put in here. Oh yeah, we could have the ant bomb in this area too. So we have this, that. Wait, no, I'm not creatively happy with him being there. Definitely have to think on the enemy placement for this stage. Well, that's true. We could have a bee infestation in the temple. How about that? It would be more challenging in like in a vertical section though, because here they'd be really easy to avoid. That's also an issue. Oh, that's right, the bats. Yeah, we could have them working around the temple. They could be like the rats of this place. How about that? And there would be a more frequent event inside the cave parts of the stage. So, that's right, we can use this. I think it says welcome in Japanese, I just can't remember. But I know it's like a welcoming gesture. Oh, that's right, we can have this little statue up here too. What about... Yeah, we could do that. Keep it visually interesting. Yeah, we have some walls here too. Yeah, this temple is definitely going to need some deliberation, and probably do that off the stream. So, because yes, we finally hit the 3-hour mark, and this was a very impromptu sort of stream. I didn't really announce the schedule ahead of any time or anything. And, I wasn't expecting a huge crowd. Like, I feel like I will need to do this about 5 or so times for like if any particular content niche of people are wanting like more Freedom Planet stuff being streamed, then yes, you need a bit more time to cast the net, so to speak. But yes, I did want to come back to Twitch to stream things like this again, especially after I figured out how to turn off like psycho visual tuning so that streaming wouldn't be so hard on the laptop. And that does feel good to get back to it. And this is what we did in 3 hours. See, oh, in fact, let me like start testing from the beginning with the timer turned on so we can see how much content we spent making in 3 hours. Yeah. Yeah, so roughly 20 seconds of gameplay if somebody's just casually strolling through. So, but, you know, again, we've just been busy making the layouts and detours. So, if I was just like purely drafting, like only being concerned with the level layout, like it would look so cursed as we go because it would just look like those Minecraft worlds with like half of the blocks are deleted. Nothing is saved. Um, so yeah, the finished layout will definitely need some consideration. You know, I'd really like the inside of the temple to stand out in terms of like being geometrically interesting to navigate and having gimmicks that also take the temple's aesthetic into consideration. But in the meantime, it was fun to stream the beginning of this for the first 3 hours. Hopefully, do this again next week, probably around the same time, maybe Monday or Tuesday. Like, probably always going to depend on like how tired my work shifts made me. Like when I get off work Monday morning, sometimes I need more rest. So it's probably going to depend on how I feel, whether it be Monday or Tuesday for every stream. But I definitely want to do it every week again, and hopefully like communicate ahead of time, like when I think the streams are going to happen. So if anybody does want to watch, they can watch, and I know it's like not a super convenient time schedule, but apparently like Tuesday is a good day to stream according to Creeper. Um, so we'll see how it goes. In the meantime, it was good stream on Twitch again. And, let's do this again sometime. Thank you for watching.